So in Chicago, Soldier Field, I've never been. I've just watched games there, and the wind it's howling. It's right on the lake, and it's always cold and freezing. Well, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has come up with 3 different proposals, artist renderings of what Soldier Field could be made into. One of them was a dome. The other is like a multi-use stadium, and I don't know. They're trying to increase the capacity because the Bears are sniffing around moving from Soldier Field to a place out in Arlington International Race Course, which is in Arlington Heights, Illinois. But I'm all for a dome, especially if you're playing in Chicago where the weather sucks all year or in the wintertime. So I want to hear Colin's take on this because I can only speak to it from watching it on TV. He lived it.
I did live it. I did actually live in Arlington. I drove past the track every day on the way to work. I know exactly where the track is, and that'd be like putting a stadium in, let's see, Glen Burnie for the Maryland people, and then it'd be like putting a stadium in Doylestown, Pennsylvania for the Pennsylvania people that listen to our show. It's just you're in the middle of not in the middle of nowhere. You're in neighborhoods, and it's a nice neighborhood and all that stuff, but it's like awkward place to put a stadium, and it's outside the city. The Bears facility is outside the city, about 45 minutes north, so it'd be closer to the facility. But I digress. Soldier Field, amazing place. People complain about the new Soldier Field, which I think is stunning. People complain about it, but hey, people complain about everything, as we know here, not for long media. But it's still a beautiful place to play. Unbelievable. So humbled I got to play some preseason games there and be a part of the Bears for a year. But there's a lot to unpack here. Yes, I love the cold weather games. I think it's awesome. I think it's cool. The tradition and the snow and, Dick Butkus and, Devin Hester juking people in snow and all that stuff is so cool to me. Urlacher and Julius Peppers, like all that stuff is awesome. But folks, this is business. This is huge, huge business, which sucks, right? But that's why I'm able to talk to you. That's why we have 1 listener or 1,000 listeners on this show is because of the NFL. And really for the city, again, we talked about the impact of the city. They can't have events there past January, February. It's still freezing cold in the playoffs there, but they can't have events in that stadium. That thing sits vacant till when? May? So that's 5 months, give or take, really, of lost revenue. And if you dome it, that's my argument with MetLife Stadium with Zach Gell when he came on. He's got to dome it. You can't dome it. You can't. It's New York. But that could have been a March Madness heaven between Madison Square Garden and there. You're in the media and you have 2 NFL teams there. It should have been domed. It should have been Jerry's World on steroids, a mall, all the Christmas shopping. Should have been chaos up there. Like it should have been just connected to the racetrack across the street. Like make it just an absolute beast. So I'm in favor of doming things. I really am. As much as I hate to take away the tradition of football and the cold weather, because I do value it, make it a retractable roof. Hey, make it a snow game. Make it retractable of some sense. Make it, if it's cold out and you want it to be cold and you're in Chicago, but once the football season's over, close the dome, have concerts, have things. And what's that do again for the economy? February, March, April, May. People are spending money in the city of Chicago, enjoying the city, keeping it safe. Money's being spent, right? So at the end of the day, like economy-wise, like think past just like how it affects me. Right. In fact, I got to sit in a little bit of more traffic. I don't want to go. So, I got to take the 7:37 train, even though I want to leave at 7:30. Think about the grand scheme. And I think the grand scheme is, in our world, I think it's more important. That's my opinion. So I think the impact of a dome economically is huge because year round in these big cold cities, you're able to get things done. Should you ever put a dome on Green Bay? No, because there's not a city at Green Bay. There's nothing there other than neighborhoods. It's a beautiful place. People got to go. It's unbelievable. But Buffalo is the same thing. It's a little neighborhood and a stadium. Don't dome it. Nothing goes on there. It's different. But cities like that, where you're in downtown Chicago, beautiful city. Love that city. I think you got to dome it. I think you do, and open it, retract it for the winter for the games. Why not? So. That's my opinion. What do you guys think? Go ahead, Jack.
I don't know. I think I'm all for it. I'm all for everything you said. I don't see the players willingly if you're like, oh well, if we have a retractable roof and it's snowing, I feel like every player, even on your own team, is gonna just say put the roof up. They don't want to play in the snow. I just think, I mean, like I'm all for everything you said. I just don't see that roof ever being open in the winter, regardless. I don't think the players or anybody will be for it.
JA, what do you think?
I don't know if they honestly. I don't know if they go retractable roof or not. I feel like if you're going to do it, it's going to be like a hard dome situation. But I mean, you would lose the bear weather that we get in December. But you'd also probably lose the Cody Parkey double doink. So
The fun thing that people don't know about the Cody Parkey double doink that no one talks about is it got blocked. That ball
okay,
got blocked.
Tipped by a fingertip and changed it. I forget what defensive tackle it was. I remember that. It was like you have to look at like super slow motion zoomed up, and you can see the angle gets changed minimally and drastically affected at all.
That's huge, and it still almost went in. And I know Cody, and I loved Cody. It was really cool, and it all went to a mess, after that. But fun fact, I think I may have, there was talks that I could have went back to Chicago after that game if the Bears won because they were short on tight ends. They had some injuries, so it affected me too. As much as the Eagles people were happy, I was not a happy camper. So, hey, it was all speculation. My agents thought at the time that we could end up back there. But yeah, long story short, I think you got to go with the dome. I think it's got to be retractable. I think it's got to be retractable. You want to keep the Bears thing cold? Great. Keep it cold. You got a team coming up. Tampa's coming into Chicago for the playoff game. Retract the roof. Why not? To your advantage. But spend the money, on making it right. It's a great city. It's right on the water. You got to visit that city. So